Hi, I'm Ben Murdoch, the songwriter coach, and welcome to day 7 of my 14-day lyric writing challenge, keeping us songwriters creating during isolation. Wow, we're a week in already. So thank you for sticking to it, and I hope you're all enjoying these daily challenges. If you are, please hit like and don't forget to subscribe. Today we're taking our writing from the last 2 days and shaking it up a bit. It's time for a change, time to look through a different lens and see what we see through it. So I want you to think about the sensory rights you've written over the last 2 days. Did your rights have any characters in them other than yourself? They could be human or animal, just living things, living characters. If you don't have any characters from your writing other than yourself, then don't worry, we're going to come to options for you in just a moment. If you do have characters though, then we're about to have a bit of fun with a challenge that I like to call the invasion of the body snatchers. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You need to pick out a character from your writing that you'd like to body snatch, because what you're going to do in this challenge is jump into their body and write from their perspective. As I said before, the character can be human or animal. A pet, for example, can be used. I've written from my own dog's perspective in the past, which I'm going to come to a little bit later. Give yourself the usual 10 to 15 minutes to do a sensory write from the perspective of that character you've chosen. This time, though, try to get all 7 senses into your writing. So it's a quick reminder. Those are sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, movement, organic. Yeah, that's 7. You can choose to keep the subject and object the same or make a few changes here too. It's fine to begin to add a few changes here as it helps to get different angles and add more colour into the writing. So you'll find that this sensory writing technique, once you've done it a few times and you've got some experience, is beautifully flexible and you can have loads of fun with it, changing a few elements. So pause the video on the instruction screen I'm about to put up and do your body snatchers sensory write from the perspective of the character you've chosen. Good luck. Welcome back. So, if you had a character to write about, you now have a totally new angle and new perspective. Okay, so now to those of you who may not have had a character that they could work with from their sensory rights, what can you do to shake things up? Well, you can find a different object from your sensory rights of the last 2 days. You may find that another object cropped up in your writing which would make a great, perfect trigger. If so, use it. As an example, when I did my apple tree write, I mentioned my garden, which led to another sensory write with the garden as the object, the subject still being my childhood. And when I did that sensory write about the garden, I found it concentrated mainly on my dog. So I took it a step further and I wrote from my dog's perspective. So apple tree led to a new object, my garden, and then to using my dog's perspective to write about the object of the garden. 3 sensory rights out of 1 starting point, and suddenly I had loads of raw material. What's interesting when you change perspective and you write as someone else, you often find yourself writing very differently. This is because you've body snatched. Yeah, it's you in there, but you're finding and trying to use their voice. I know this is true because when I wrote from the perspective of my dog, the language I used changed to be much more simple. The writing ultimately sounded like Doug from the movie Up. So now it's over to you to ring in the changes. Find something new to write about, a new trigger object, and then give yourselves the 10 to 15 minutes to write. If during that sensory write you find a character is introduced, then you could even consider writing from their perspective, again, allowing around 10 to 15 minutes. Take it as far as you like. Okay, so now pause the video here on the instruction screen I'm about to put up and do your sensory write. Great, now all of you have written something today, something which has added new angles and new perspectives to your writing. So while we're stuck at home with loads of time to fill, we can play around with sensory writing. It's a really great way to pass the time and generate awesome, powerful and meaningful material for our writing. I hope you also like the really cool invasion of the body snatchers technique too, and that the last 3 days of working on this have been fun and it's something that you might use again and again. If you're enjoying this 14-day challenge, then please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell too so you get notified when I release new videos. Stay in, stay safe and keep writing great songs, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 8. We're moving into week 2.